My name is Heidi Weidele, and I will be talking to you about how social networks can be used in computer forensics. We will be talking about what social networks are, how they can be used in digital forensics, what information is obtained from the users by websites, if it is right or wrong to obtain this information, and also we will be reviewing the ECPA rules. Social networks are websites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit that allow users to communicate and share information. Users can post videos, pictures, comments, statuses, send private messages or public messages, and share personal information such as their location, their birthday, profile pictures, and more. But not all social networks are the same. Websites such as Facebook allow users to like pages, create groups, and interact with one another, search for different users, and even add pages to other people's profiles. Websites such as Reddit allow users to post news articles, like other people's posts, and create different subreddits that allow people to search for different topics. Lastly, a site like Twitter will allow users to follow anyone, will only allow the posting of pictures, and limits the number of characters that can be submitted. Law enforcement can use social networks in criminal investigations by monitoring user activity. They could be looking for suspicious behavior, such as stealing, small crimes such as vandalism, abuse, even terrorism and harassment. Monitoring these sites is useful because it can prevent crime and harm. Websites can obtain a lot of information from their users. They can obtain the user's name when they sign up, a user's location if they use any location services to post a status, take a picture, or any other application. They can collect the email upon sign up to send notifications and verify that the account is real. Websites can also find links to other websites that users use. These are called widgets, which mean that a user is signing onto another website with another website's account, such as signing into a news service with your Facebook account. Websites also have access to users' communications. This could be private messages, forums, posts, or even public messages. Websites are able to log these messages and store them for later use. They may or may not be read. Websites can also store IP addresses. This is an individual signature of a computer that a user may be using. It depends on the location and the web server that the computer is using. Websites can also collect timestamps. This means that websites can collect data about the time that a user logs in and logs out of the account. One feature that is useful to law enforcement is location services. Location services are available on mobile devices such as phones and iPads. They allow the user to post where they are at any given point in time. The way this works is that the mobile device connects to service towers when they are turned on. This is for cell phone service as well as internet service. As the phone or mobile device moves around, the device continues to connect to towers every few minutes. As the mobile device moves around, it continues to connect to cell phone towers or service towers every few minutes to maintain service. The service tower logs the mobile device's location, along with coordinates developed by surrounding towers. Another way to use location services is the GPS unit inside the mobile device. The GPS can track the exact coordinates of the mobile device and allows the user to post on social networking sites where they are. The website servers retain this location data and track the activity of the user. Location services may be helpful to law enforcement as it is useful to track down criminals and help secure a user's alibi in a case. However, location services also may invade privacy as they track a user's every move. Overall, I believe that location services are intrusive and potentially bad for user privacy. Although information can be useful in investigations, such as tracking a criminal or finding the source of a threatening web post to keep people safe, monitoring websites and extensions too much, and having constant access to personal information is crossing the boundary of what is necessary and what is intrusive. Before I get into what websites can collect and what law enforcement has access to, I first want to go over the ECPA rules. For compelled information from a public site, law enforcement must get a warrant or a subpoena for access to basic subscriber information, such as a user's name or email. A court order or a search warrant is required for transaction records, such as credit cards, purchases, and so on. A court order, search warrant, or subpoena with order is needed for access to communications such as private messages. A court order, warrant, or a subpoena with notice is required to have access to unretrieved data that is under 180 days old and is considered still on the line. Lastly, a warrant is required to access unretrieved data that is over 180 days old. Now for what websites collect. Twitter, according to their law enforcement guidelines, says that they collect users' pictures, biography information, URL, location, username and password, email address, IP address, browser information, operating system information, and cell phone service carrier. A lot of this information is stored on the site in order for other users to see what the original user has posted. Pictures are saved, biography information is saved, the URL, location updates are all saved for the user's profile. A user's username and password is saved so that they can log in and use the website. An email address is saved for sign-up and also to notify the user if any changes have been made to the website. On Facebook, the servers collect the user's name, credit card information, email address, recent login and logout IP addresses, a user's service provider, cell phone information, and pictures. Reddit collects a user's username, password, posts, messages, IP address, Reddit Gold information, and cookies. This is according to Reddit's privacy policy and user agreement. The username and password are collected so that users can log in again and again on the server. The posts are collected so that they stay up on the website so that other users can view them. Messages are saved for user access. Reddit Gold is an online currency that is used on Reddit. It is backed up by actual money and it is given to users by users. Reddit collects and gives cookies so that it can maintain user preferences such as language and viewing options. Reddit collects significantly less private information about the users that log on to the website. An instance in which social networks can be useful to law enforcement in solving a criminal investigation is when a Reddit user, Naruto, confessed to drugging his sister's abusive boyfriend. He admitted to this murder in a meme called Confession Bear, where he states, "My sister had an abusive meth addict boyfriend. I killed him with his own drugs while he was unconscious, and they ruled it as an overdose." Users on Reddit were able to trace user Naruto's email, which would lead to finding the user's identity. Of course, there was some speculation about the post being fraudulent because many users on Reddit post far-fetched situations on the website for attention. Some techniques that law enforcement was able to use to find Naruto's identification were tracing his email address and also tracing his IP address. Without the use of social networks, law enforcement never would have reopened this case and never would have been able to find any personal information about the user Naruto. In a U.S. court case, these methods were also used to find the identification of a user of a social network. In 2001, a user Scovey2 posted on a Yahoo message board about Namtai Electronics. The post consisted of negative information about the company and claimed that its products were not worth investing in. After seeing the post, Namtai Electronics claimed that the user's post hurt their stocks and prevented investors from taking share in the company. To find the user's identity, Namtai Electronics contacted Yahoo for the user's email address. After obtaining the address, Namtai Electronics realized that the email was from an AOL account. After contacting AOL, the company did not grant access to the email account and personal user information because it believed that by doing so, a First Amendment conflict would occur. Other problems in this case was conflict among state legislature. Because Namtai Electronics, Yahoo, and AOL were based out of different states, each state had different laws as to how to approach these kinds of cases. Because access to the email account's information was allowed in one state, it didn't mean that the information was available in another. This is a constant conflict when dealing with social networking. Because different companies are based out of different states, there are different sets of laws that each company needs to abide by. When these laws conflict, it is unclear as to which laws the case should follow. Although using social networking sites in a criminal investigation can be helpful, as seen in the prior cases, The amount of surveillance on these social networking sites is getting to be excessive. Not only are website users speaking out against the amount of surveillance going on, but companies are also speaking out. In the past couple weeks, companies such as AOL, Apple, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Twitter, and Yahoo sent a letter to Washington contesting the excessive surveillance on not only social networking sites, but other websites as well. The companies suggested to the government that to obtain user information, law enforcement must have a limited scope and specific reason to be obtaining data from these sites. Overall in this lecture, we have talked about how social networks can be useful in criminal investigations. To use information in these cases can be too intrusive. Information such as a user's location and personal chat logs are not necessary in order to successfully monitor sites for any hints of criminal activity. I, along with other internet users and companies, believe that the surveillance of social networking needs to be limited to only when necessary for people's protection and for criminal cases. For more detailed information about this topic, visit my website by clicking the link below.